Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. So for this video, the topic's going to be maybe a little bit different from what we usually do. I mean, not totally different. We tend to tackle cultural topics quite often, but very rarely will I make videos about relationships, kind of what you'd expect from the, quote, red pill community. Of course, the original red pill was political, but the concept was kind of co-opted by the manosphere part of the internet. But anyways, today's video is kind of within that realm. With characters like Andrew Tate and a lot of them, there's certain elements of the messaging that I disagree with. I mean, I don't agree 100% with anyone. There's certain parts that just aren't exactly attractive to me. But at the same time, I'd say the totality of the message, there are very strong, very important points that are being made. And one of them is the attack on masculinity, the demonization of masculinity, and just how pervasive this sort of ideology and this propaganda is in our modern culture. It's sort of marketed as this very benign, very progressive ideology that's simply uplifting women. But honestly, these days, it seems as though the focus is more beating down and destroying men and masculinity under the guise of empowering women. We gotta get into this, especially in relation to big mainstream blockbuster movies. There's one specific clip that I really think puts it all into perspective. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, I'm sure a lot of you guys know that a new Snow White movie is coming out, and of course, knowing the woke garbage that Disney has been releasing and producing, and especially recently, well, chances are that Snow White is about to be wokeified, right? Absolutely it is. The extent, however, is a little bit shocking. Take a look at this interview with two of the main actresses from the movie, Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler. Take a look.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign. Yeah.
Now, in that interview, the idea was presented in this sort of very soft, fluffy, happy way. Female empowerment, slay queen, a strong, independent woman, finding her way on her own, she don't need no man. That is essentially the message. And it's presented as benign, but in my view, it's anything but. Because the implication is exactly what I just said. I don't need no man. In modern day progressive feminist thinking, this is viewed as progress. This is how you achieve satisfaction and purpose as a woman. The message essentially is make your own path, focus on you and your career advancements and your achievements, you as an individual, without men, because men are inherently evil and toxic and patriarchy. That doesn't seem like a recipe for happiness. That seems like a recipe for an empty existence where you probably have a closet full of designer clothes and designer handbags, but you end up alone, old, and frail with 5 cats. Supposedly, that's female empowerment. Not these old, archaic 1937 values, like allowing a strong male figure into your life to sweep you off your feet, provide and protect for you, to be your prince. No, that's toxic, apparently. The concept is completely backwards. It's marketed to young women as this is what you want, this is what's good for you, that this is what's good for society. But obviously that isn't the case. I mean, look at the statistics. You're better off to grow up poor in a terrible neighborhood with 2 loving parents in the home than you are growing up in a household with a single mother. And I'm not talking about divorce where there's a split custody. I'm talking about children who grow up with no father figure, and especially men. It's clearly not a good thing, and the statistics are incredibly clear that this is the case. Not to mention going back on these ideas being marketed to young women as this is what you want, this is what's good for you. The notion is completely laughable because you look at all of these women who are single, independent, empowered, strong, independent, liberal women. You see the same trend over and over again. Once they reach a certain age, it's generally referred to as the wall. They all seem to be longing for a strong, masculine, providing figure in their lives. I don't need no man is how it starts, and then it ends with, why can't I find the man of my dreams? Well, maybe because you're buying into this ideology, this propaganda that's being thrusted upon you, telling you that men are evil, men are abusers, men will take advantage of you, you don't don't want to put yourself in a position where you're reliant on a man, so you must rely on yourself. Essentially, you must adopt the male role. Go to school, grind hard, work hard hours, overtime, focus on your career, because that's how you're going to find personal happiness. And then by the time you realize that maybe being in a freaking cubicle or being in an office and dedicating your entire life to making money and rising the corporate ladder, dedicating your life to luxury vacations and materialistic goods doesn't give you the same satisfaction that starting a family would. In my opinion, it's a totally deranged, backwards, very pessimistic worldview. I find it destructive. And of course, there's victims on both sides of this ideology. There's obviously the young women who are buying the snake oil and leading very unfulfilling lives. And then, of course, there's the young boys, who in most cases are good boys or good men, who are simply trying to fill their biological and cultural role in society. Yet everywhere they look, they're told that their mere existence is toxic, that being masculine, that bringing that masculine energy, being a father figure, being tough, is somehow wrong. And it goes even further, where some of the far extremes of this new feminist ideology paints them as aggressive, as to be feared, to be avoided, or equally annoying, as useless morons. You know, it's something I've seen in the entertainment world for a very long time, from the sitcoms of old all the way to the movies today, like Barbie, for instance, where male figures are portrayed as being ignorant, small-minded brutes, or just dopes, like Homer Simpson or Barbie Ken in the most recent Barbie movie. It all builds on the same ideology. Men are stupid. You don't need a man. What's the point of men? They're dumb and violent and aggressive. You don't need no man. Go into the labor force. How else are you gonna buy those Jimmy Choo shoes? That's where real happiness lies. I would rather be broke, living on a farm, growing my own food and doing my thing with a loving wife, or if I was a woman, a loving husband, and beautiful children running around. I would take that any day of the week over fancy consumer products and an empty, vapid lifestyle. Wake up. There's clearly a concerted effort to destroy the nuclear family, to destroy the beautiful biological symbiosis between men and women, claiming somehow that that beautiful biological symbiosis is backwards, bigoted, and wrong. But clearly, very obviously, it's the other way around, isn't it? I don't know, man, and I don't know how we fix this stuff either, because the sad reality is the family unit has already been so destroyed in the modern era that a lot of people don't grow up seeing the value. You know, I feel like my perspective on these issues comes directly from the way that I was raised. I was raised in a loving home with my father busting his ass, you know, taking all the stress and all the burdens on his shoulders, keeping silent, never bringing that home, while my mom was a stay-at-home mom, making the home and taking care of the boys. You know, me and my brother, especially in our younger years, getting picked up and dropped off from school, sick days with mom, homework with mom, home-cooked dinners as I walked through the door ready to go. And I don't look at that as if my mom was oppressed, as if my mom was an indentured servant. She was a successful real estate agent, and she decided to leave the corporate world to be at home and fill that role because she got satisfaction from it. I look back at those times and I think of it as beautiful, and I want to recreate it through the generations of my family. But the sad reality is a lot of people don't grow up with that anymore, and so they don't understand the value, they don't understand the beauty. And that's probably by design, to separate man and woman, to destroy the family, to create more reliance on the system, to be married to the system. In this pursuit of independence, ironically enough, more dependence is created. It's clear propaganda, there's clearly a motive. And the sad part is, in the modern day, at least in the West, people are falling for it. They're buying the snake oil. Hollywood is the vessel of propaganda. Clearly, there's some sort of motive here beyond woke profits, because let's be real, woke profits don't exist. Disney has lost nearly $1 billion on their last 8 movie releases, and it's probably going to be a whole lot more once the Snow White movie releases. The motive isn't money. The motive is the demonization and the destruction of masculinity and the destruction of the nuclear family. That's what I got for you guys, though. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.